Hello, this is Mr. Chabry, and what we're going to be looking at now is Day 2 of the Weakness Cut battles. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to battle for Day 3, but anyway, here are some Day 2 battles that I had. So this opponent leads off with the Delphox and the Golurk, and that's pretty interesting. This is the only Delphox and Golurk I saw during this whole competition, and I'm going to lead my Aerodactyl and my Togekiss. And the first thing I'm going to do is Sky Drop the Delphox because I know that it's faster than my Togekiss and I don't want to take any unnecessary damage on Togekiss. So now I have this thing up in the air and I'm going to bring it back down. I see that his Golurk actually went for the Heavy Slam towards my Aerodactyl, so I'm going to try to flinch it out because I know it's going to be able to take something and put a lot of damage on it. He's going to go for Flamethrower on Togekiss, and this Togekiss is actually a specially defensive Togekiss. It lives the Flamethrower, and it lives with 1 HP from the Heavy Slam. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm just going to go for Rock Slide. That takes out the Delphox, does a little bit of damage on Golurk. It was actually a critical hit on both. I don't think it mattered on Delphox, but yeah, the Golurk still lived, and I'm just going to go for Air Slash because what I was going to do is try to flinch out the Golurk so I don't have to take a Heavy Slam. But now he's going to bring in the Chestnut and the Kommo-o. So what I want to do first is actually get rid of Kommo-o because I think that would be the bigger threat to my Aerodactyl. So I'm actually going to just go for Sky Drop on the Chestnut, but I'm going to not be able to do any damage since the spiky shield, and I'm just going to Dazzling Gleam because that hits both super effective, but Kommo-o cannot live a Dazzling Gleam, so he goes down. My Tailwind has petered out, but now it's just the Chestnut versus the world, and I'm going to protect my Aerodactyl just in case Air Slash ends up not taking it out, but I'm pretty sure Air Slash will take it out because, I mean, this thing is 4 times weak to a flying type moves, and it's going to go down, so we didn't lose any Pokemon in that battle. Togekiss lived with 1 HP, so I'm pretty excited about that. So now what we're going to do is go into the second battle. In the second battle, my opponent leads with the Tyranitar and the Aerodactyl, and I'm actually going to lead with my Tyranitar and my Weavile. Whenever I saw Tyranitar on the team preview of my opponent, I would always have Breloom in the back, because Breloom is the best thing for Tyranitar. So, as you see, I have Unnerve on mine, but his Tyranitar actually has the Sandstream. So, that's going to actually help out my Tyranitar as well. I'm just going to go for Fake Out on the Tyranitar, because I think that's the bigger threat here. I know his Aerodactyl cannot Sky Drop my Tyranitar, so there's not much that Aerodactyl can do to Tyranitar. I think it might be able to learn Iron Head, but I'm not sure. But I haven't seen any Iron Head users of Aerodactyls here. So anyway, I'm going to Dragon Dance, and now my attack and speed has raised. And he's just going to go for the Rock Slide. And I know that my Tyranitar is faster now, so I'm just going to Iron Head his Aerodactyl, get rid of it. Unfortunately, my Weavile has flinched, and that turn I actually went for the low kick onto his Tyranitar. So if my Weavile did not flinch, his Tyranitar would have been gone there. But unfortunately, Weavile goes down to the Rock Slide, and there's not much I can do there. Here he actually shows that he brought his Breloom, so I'm thinking this opponent has the same thought process as what I did. So I'm going to protect, because I do not want to go down to a Mach Punch. And then it turns out my opponent's going to also protect. So here it's basically like a mirror match. We both go for Mach Punch onto each other's Tyranitar. So that's just interesting how that turn turned out there. We're both thinking the same thought process here. Take out the Tyranitar with the Breloom. So now he's going to actually take out his Tyranitar and bring in his Togekiss. And Togekiss is a big threat to both of these Pokemon. I know Tyranitar, my Tyranitar probably outlived its usefulness, so I'm just going to let his Breloom take it out, as his Breloom actually goes for the Rock Tomb onto my Breloom. So that's pretty interesting. I was willing to just let my Tyranitar go down there. I'm just going to go for a Rock Slide now. I went for Mach Punch on his Tyranitar, but since he switched into Togekiss, it barely does anything. So here we are. My Tyranitar still gets to live, but probably not for long, since this thing could go for Mach Punch. Here I'm going to Protect, though. Keep it alive a little bit longer, because he's just going to Mach Punch it. I think he probably should have just Mach Punched there when he had the chance, but he waited. But now my Breloom goes down to the Air Slash, and that's very unfortunate because that's my best answer to his Tyranitar. So now my Greninja comes out, and I'm going to try to get the Double Protect, as I do get the Double Protect, because that's my only hope here. If I get the Double Protect, I can attack with my Greninja. And Greninja is going to go for the Blizzard, become an Ice type, but unfortunately, Breloom avoids. So I guess that evens out my Double Protect for the miss on his Breloom. But unfortunately, my Tyranitar probably won't get the Protect next time, even if I go for it. So there's not much my Tyranitar can do, so I'm going to have to let it go down and hope Greninja can at least do something. Here I'm going to go for the Shadow Sneak, just in case his Breloom had the idea of going after Greninja with a Mach Punch. But it turns out, no, he's going to finish off the Tyranitar because he probably realizes it would have been easier to do it earlier. Now I'm going to take the Rock Slide. Luckily I'm no longer an Ice type, but there's not much Greninja can do from here. I could go for another Shadow Sneak, but his Tyranitar will be able to finish me off. His Breloom will actually be able to finish me off. So my idea here is I'm going to at least try to bring it down 1 versus 1, because I know I can't do anything to the Breloom, but his Tyranitar actually lives the Hydro Cannon, so yeah, so it turns out he's going to have 2 Pokemon left as I get just knocked out with Bullet Seed. So unfortunately Greninja tried there, but unfortunately Greninja could not pull through, and I highly doubted that Greninja could pull through in those odds anyway. So now we're going to go into the 3rd battle, and while you're looking at this battle, I want you to think back to yesterday's video. Was it yesterday or the day before? I posted the video of Breloom going down to a Phantom Force, and I was pretty distraught that my poor Breloom was not able to hit with enough times with Bullet Seed. Just think back to that as we watch this. So he leads Tyranitar, Weavile. I lead Greninja and Weavile. Weavile is one of those Pokemon that are just really good to lead with. And unfortunately, I'm going to be faked out by his Weavile. So my Weavile cannot go for Fake Out on his Tyranitar, which is what I want it to do. I actually go for the Gunk Shot, trying to hit his Weavile, but I miss. And I'm going to take Stone Edge, so Greninja is in a bad position right now. And now his Weavile will actually be able to finish off my Greninja with an Ice Shard. So unfortunately Greninja didn't really get to do much this entire battle. All it really did was miss a Gunk Shot and get taken out. Luckily this time Weavile can fire off the low kick onto the Tyranitar, and that is enough to take out the Tyranitar. So I'm actually happy about that. I think that's a better trade in my end. I'm getting rid of the Tyranitar versus Greninja. Now I'm going to send out my Breloom as he sends out his Rhyperior. And Rhyperior is a Pokemon that has really good defense, really good attack, and really good HP. So here he's going to switch out his Weavile, not wanting to take the Mach Punch. He's actually going to set up the Grassy Surge as well. And I was going to go for Mach Punch onto the Weavile, try to do as much damage as I can, and I go for Knock Off onto the Rhyperior just in case it has the weakness policy. And I get rid of it, but unluckily for me, I'm going to go down to the Rock Blast. So Weavile is now gone. I've got my Breloom though. I've got one more Pokemon in the back, as my opponent still has 3. The Weavile that can come in and Fake Out, the Tapu Bulu, which is a pretty big threat, and the Rhyperior, which is a bulky defensive monster. So now all the Pokemon are going to get some health back since they're all on the ground, and I'm going to bring out my last Pokemon, the Togekiss, So Togekiss is really the best thing against the Tapu Bulu that I have. His Tapu Bulu is actually going to go for Protect now. But I actually go for Spore on the Rhyperior because I do not want this thing to take out my Togekiss. I highly doubt that a Mach Punch will take it out, and I don't want to risk Bullet Seed not hitting enough times to take it out. I know grassy terrain boosts grass-type moves, but I just didn't want to take the risk because Togekiss is really my only answer to the Tapu Bulu. So Rhyperior goes to sleep. We're all going to take some Sandstorm damage, except the Rhyperior, and we're all going to get some health back, except the Togekiss. Because Togekiss is flying, and since it's not touching the grassy terrain, it doesn't get any health back. So here I'm just going to Bullet Seed, and looking at this, actually 2 Bullet Seeds would have been enough anyway, but I think it's better safe than sorry here. So that's a dead Rhyperior. I'm going to go for Air Slash, trying to get rid of this Tapu Bulu, but it actually lives, and that's very unfortunate for me. He's going to get some Leech Seeds onto my Togekiss. So now, not only will Togekiss not be getting any health back, Tapu Bulu will get health back from the terrain, plus the Leech Seed. So that's very unfortunate on my end. And he also has the Weavile in the back. So Weavile could fake out anything it wants from here. Looking at this, it probably would fake out the Breloom. And that's what it does, not wanting to take the Mach Punch. I actually go for Follow Me because I kind of forgot that Fake Out goes before Follow Me. And that's very unfortunate, because that would have been so nice to be able to get rid of the Weavile there. I'm going to take a Smart Strike from the Tapu Bulu, and Togekiss actually lives that. Togekiss is just a really bulky Pokemon. I really like Togekiss in this competition, but yeah, so that tells me Togekiss doesn't have much time left though, and the Tapu Bulu is regaining health every turn. So things are slowly looking like it's not going to be going in my favor. And on top of that, the Tapu Bulu goes ahead and goes for Protect. And the Weavile is going to finish off my Togekiss with an Ice Shard. So now it's Breloom versus the world once again. And if you remember that one battle I told you to think back to, Breloom up against the Dhelmise. Dhelmise was able to take it out. Now it looks like that's probably going to happen again. Breloom, there's not really much that Breloom can even do to Tapu Bulu. And I know Tapu Bulu is a fairy type, but I'm not sure what physical fairy moves it gets. I don't think it really gets any good ones. I know it probably gets Dazzling Gleam, but here I'm just going to go for Bullet Seed, hoping to get 5 hits, maybe a critical hit. And unfortunately, I only get 2. But he's going to go for the Horn Leech, and that's not going to do too much to me, but unfortunately he's going to get some health back. So now things are kind of looking bad. If I do not hit 5 times here, my Breloom is not going to be able to do anything to Tapu Bulu, because it's going to just go down to just chance. And here we actually get a critical hit, so that's going to help Breloom get the knockout. And now Breloom has redeemed himself. So Breloom hits 5 times, also gets a critical hit, and that's going to be enough to take out the Tapu Bulu. So if you like this, give it a thumbs up. The next competition I'm going to put onto Twitch. I'm going to stream it, and then put some of the videos here for my YouTube audience. But anyway, there was the Weakness Cup. It was a pretty interesting competition. I had a lot of interesting Pokemon. I like watching these cups have their own little metagame form. It's very interesting seeing how the rock types really became big here. Dark types as well. Grass types were starting to bubble up near the end. But anyway, if you like this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.